Hello everyone and thanks for joining me for this video. If you're visiting my channel for the first time, a warm welcome to you. I hope you find this video informative. I hope you watch to the end of this video, and if you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing to my channel and hitting on the small bell that pops up to receive notifications of my future videos. And to those who are visiting my channel again, a big thank you for the views, likes, subscribes, and comments. I'm so glad that you're here. I'll briefly give you some ideas about what I use my sketchbooks for. Sketchbooks serve as a record of your art journey. Draw lines in them, circles, scribbles, squigglies, doodles, have fun. Draw everything in sight, and when you try to draw an apple and it turns out to be an orange, who cares? Well, the upside is that now you've learned to draw an orange. You don't have to show your work to anyone if you don't want to. Sketchbooks can be very personal. You can use it to record your work and then look back and compare yourself from when you started to now. Sketchbooks can also be used as a portfolio. If you want someone to see a body of the work that you've been doing, then your final sketches should be redrawn or painted in a sketchbook specifically meant for that purpose. Sketchbooks are good for warm-up exercises. Open them and draw daily. Don't put too much thought into them and what you're drawing. Just check Pinterest, Google, Pixabay, Pexels, and select a few photos. Draw those shapes for 10 minutes each a day and increase the time from there on. If you date your drawings and sign them, you're on the road to becoming an artist. Or if you're already one, you're on the road to becoming a greater one. A word of caution here. Whatever you do from different sites, even if they are free, you cannot copy them and sell them as yours. That's plagiarism. A sketchbook is a haven for all ideas. I use different sketchbooks for different things. I have a sketchbook for rough drawings, a sketchbook for watercolors, for pastels a different one, charcoals, gelatos, and various other things. Having sketchbooks have made me more disciplined. I now try to do thumbnails for most of my projects. I plan all my videos and courses in it. I plan illustrations for my storybooks, so sketchbooks are my soulmates. Sketchbooks make great travel companions. Wherever you go, your garden, your school, office, the market, coffee shop, the sky. Okay, that's funny. It's not true. But literally, the sky is the limit. I'll now take you through a tour of a few of my sketchbooks, so sit back and enjoy. The books in the front are my writing journals, and the ones at the back are my sketchbooks. I like to paint the covers of my sketchbooks and make it look a little different. I add stickers, I put a little flair of my own on everything, and sometimes I paint even the insides of the books. So even before starting my work or even before opening the book, I see these little things and it just makes my heart sing. This is the first sketchbook that I bought from a $2 shop, and I started doing very basic sketches. At that time, I didn't think that one day I'd be putting my work on YouTube. This is a sketch I did right at the end after completing all the drawings in this sketchbook because I'm too scared to spoil my first page. This is another sketch of a pet of one of my friends on Instagram, and I go on to do this sketch in pastels later on. So many of the rough sketches that I do in the sketchbooks, I use them for ideas, and so this is another one that I did, and I went on to make a watercolor painting later on. But I don't sell these things because most of these sketches I look at references and do them. So it's just so that I can improve my drawing skills. So quick glance through this book, and we go on to our second book. This is my second sketchbook that I bought, and I always write what the sketchbooks are meant for. So this one is not meant for painting, it's only for sketching. And I do have different sketchbooks for different things, like for my watercolors, I have different things. This is an accordion that I made, sticking pages together with sellotape, and you can open it out. It just looks nice in the sketchbook. Similarly, I do pockets at the back of the sketchbook too. I just doodle in this second sketchbook also. I've done some studies about plants, some textures. This is Dr. Maya Angelou. I want to do a project about her someday, so just practicing things about her. This is my travel sketchbook. I love to capture the memories of my travels. This painting was from a business card that one of the artists I met on one of my trips, and I just liked it so much, so I drew that business card. Again, I just look at newspapers, magazines, and draw stuff from there. These two are from my visit to Alaska. I had photographs of a caribou and a moose, and I did them. I won't be able to go through all the paintings and drawings. This is when my cruise ship was docked at Port Stanley in Falkland Islands, and then on the way to Antarctica. I drew some icebergs. I've got heaps of sketchbooks, and it will not be possible to go through each one of them. So I just wanted to show you and get you to encourage you to get a sketchbook. These are some flowers that I dried in the books and then later on pasted onto the sketchbook. And this is a pocket I made for the sketchbook just to put in some things that are related to artwork. I did this painting with a screwdriver. So, just as you do paintings with knife, I did this with a screwdriver. Just being a bit creative. I sometimes try out paints. If I buy new paints, I try out how they work. This is a collage I had made. So, yeah, basically, I just want to say that sketchbooks are very important to record everything, what you see. And once it's all done and kept as a record, later on you can go through them and it brings back happy memories. This is my trip to Chile, South America, this is the cruise ship I traveled on, the Zandam, and it had lifeboats too, so I've done the lifeboat on top, and tender boats they call them. I did some paintings on the ships that I traveled on. These are again icebergs in Antarctica. This was my trip to Buenos Aires, and I got the buildings all wrong, so I had to redo it into a sketch and pasted it there again. This sketchbook is close to my heart, and it brings back a lot of fond memories. It was gifted to me by my friends who I met on the ship, and they're from Canada, a lovely couple who are still in touch with me. So they gifted me this sketchbook when I was traveling with them. Since I painted the cover of the sketchbook, whatever was on the cover, I drew that as a memory. This drawing was done with my left hand. Sometimes it's nice to challenge yourself doing drawings with your left hand. I take a lot of notes while doing my drawing studies, so it comes in use later. So this was all information that I researched about a seahorse, and I've done quite a few seahorses in my paintings of sea creatures. Again, a quick glance through my sketchbook. But basically, just giving you an idea to record your things, note them down. It comes in use sometimes later. This is a sketchbook that I use. It's a Moleskin sketchbook. It's really very good, and I use this for my collages. This is a gouache page of paintings. It takes a lot of heavy materials, and really very good. That's a portrait of one of my friends. And I apply gesso first to the page, and then I do. Those are gouache paintings, all of them, and these are watercolors. These are again collages that I have done. If you want to see these paintings, they are all available on my Instagram post. It's at brenrose.art. BRENROSE.art. This is a painting with acrylics and gold leaf. These are all backgrounds which I do in this book because I do a lot of collages and I just keep them ready. Whenever I feel like painting, I can go straight onto the backgrounds and do my paintings. So sometimes when I just want to do something meditative, I just take this book and do all my backgrounds. This is an angel which my kids presented to me, so I just did that as a memory into the book. This is another sketchbook meant for pastels. It's a Stillman Birn sketchbook. I'll put the names of these sketchbooks in the description box below the video. So I use these for my final sketches mostly. This is Caravaggio. This is a sketch of my parents, our family pets, Frida Kahlo. I'm very inspired by her too. Caravaggio. My mom. I did a landscape painting in pastels. I do a lot of pastels, and then once I finish a painting, I just take them out from the book and store them away. I use a fixative and then put them in butter paper. This is the pet that I painted in pastels, the sketch that I showed you before. I went on to do a pastel sketch. You could take the details down of the sketchbook, but I'll also put it in the link below in the description box. Another sketchbook of mine. This is actually not meant for watercolors, and I went and did I think a couple of watercolors previously, but once I realized it's not meant for watercolors, I just wrote it in that book. Another book of mine, very basic. In the initial stages I was doing watercolors, but it wasn't handling watercolors, so I did some sketches and some studies, but the sketchbook is then left behind. I will start doing some sketches in these again. I loved this sketchbook because it handles watercolors well, and this is the sketch that I went on to do a painting that I showed you previously in the basic sketchbook that I have done. I've done a lot of watercolors in this particular sketchbook, and I just love the texture. These are from photographs of my trip to Portugal. I just drew some of them from my photographs, and they are lovely memories that I've created in this book. Again, some gouache studies that I did. I love to do galaxies, and maybe one of the videos I'll do in the future are on galaxies. This is a very big sketchbook A3, which I do a lot of studies, and I do a lot of sketches and illustrations. So that brings us to the end of this video, and I hope it's inspired you to go and get a sketchbook. I'm sure it won't be a wrong investment, because one day you'll be proud about it. Thank you so much for watching, and please don't forget to hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, and if you haven't before, consider subscribing to my channel. A big thank you once again, and I wish you all the best in your art journey at whatever stage you may be.